Amen. What do you see yourself doing in 70 years? Yeah, mansion, like that. Okay. Some people dream of living in a beach house, right? Just enjoy the view, relax there, and collect shells. Well, some want to go on a cruise around the world, right? Some people dream of going on a camping car, right? Just drive around town and visit the countries, just chill out and do barbecue, marshmallow maybe, or have a fire pit going on at night, right? And see the stars at night. Oh man, those are beautiful. Some people just like her, she wants to just be with the family, right? Taking care of them and loving them and give them 용돈 from time to time, and they'll be like, ah, Candy, I love you, grandma or grandpa, right? But nobody in our right mind would dream about going on a war when they are like 70s or 80s. They'll be a mad grandpa or grandma. But today's story is exactly about mad grandpa, really mad grandpa. So this guy's name was Caleb, and he was a special person. Not only because he was a very close friend of Joshua, no, the leader of all Israelites. But what made him even more special was that he was the only one person out of two people who walked out of Egypt and stepped on the land of Canaan. So what happened? 40 years before, Moses and all Israelites come here, this place called Kadesh Barnea, and they sent spies over to the Canaanite land to spy out the land for 40 days. After 40 days, they came back, 12 spies. And Caleb was one of the spies. And when they came back, they had terrible news. 10 of them said, the place is good and all, but the place is already packed with people. Not just any people, mighty nations. They had huge fortresses and walls. They had armies. And plus, they had giants living in there. This place called Hebron, they're huge people. They're monstrous. To them, you look like a grasshopper. It's a suicide mission. No, let's turn back. If you go there, we all die. So when the people of Israel heard this news, they melted in fear. Like, oh my God, what are we going to do? We came all the way here. Now we're stuck. Where are we going to go? But two other spies said, no. Yes, there are mighty people in there. Fortresses. They have chariots and army. And they have giants. But you know what, people? We have God. And because of that, we can conquer them all. Let's go. But the people didn't listen. They grumbled against God and Moses, and they said, why did you bring us all the way here? Just to die by the hands of the Canaanites, the Gentiles? Right in here in desert nowhere? So God gave them what they wanted. He sent them back to the wilderness. For how long? 40 years. And everybody who came out of Egypt, they all died in the wilderness. Except the two spies who went up there. Can you guess who these two spies were?
Joshua and that other person?
Joshua and Caleb.
Yeah.
They were the only two people who remained alive and walked into the Canaanite land. Only these two people. The rest, they were just born here. Within that 40 years, they were born here. They were not even born in Egypt. They don't know anything about Egypt. They heard the stories, but that's it. But only Joshua and Caleb had seen it all. They seen how God struck Egypt to free his people, the 10 plagues. He saw how God led the people of Israel, pillars of cloud and fire. He saw how God split the Dead Sea in half and made the people walk through it. He saw how Jericho came down just walking around. He's seen it all. He was like a walking history of God's miracle. So after 40 years, Caleb finally walked into the land. He was 85 when he walked into the land of Canaanites. He was old man. He was very old. It was time for him to take some rest, right? But not for Caleb. This is what Caleb asked to Joshua, his friend. Give me the hill country that the Lord promised me. You will remember that as scouts we found the descendant of Anak living there in great walled town, Anak the giants. So Caleb was given the town of Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, which had been named after Anak's ancestor. So he comes and asks for a piece of land on a hill country, the place where the giants lived. You know, Anaks, if you don't know who they were, Goliath was one of them. Descendants of Anak. They were 3-meter high warrior, born to battle. They were no ordinary humans. They were like huge. They were like double our size. So Anaks lived in the place of Hebron. And this old man, 85 years old, hey, give me that piece of land. Wow. Was he out of his mind? And it was not just giants. They had huge walls. They had army. Israelites could not touch them yet. They were afraid. Who messing with them? Imagine. There will be no chance for Caleb. Not slightest. But just like that, Caleb, the old grandpa, drove out the 3 groups of Anakites. The descendants of Sheshai, Ahiman, and Talmai, the sons of Anak. So there were 3 groups of giants, and Caleb went up there, defeated all of them. He drove them out like it was nothing. Wow. How did he do that?
Because God was with him.
Did he take like pebbles and a sling like David? This is the answer that he gives. You will remember that as scouts, we found the descendants of Anak living there. So he's talking about the old time to Joshua. Hey, remember? 40 years ago, you and me went up to Hebron. We saw the Anaks, the giants. And he said, but if the Lord is with me, I will drive them out of the land, just as the Lord said. If God is for me, then I will do it.
God gives.
Somehow, this old man, up on his 80s, drove out not 1, not 2, but 3 groups of Anaks from the walled city. What is Caleb telling us? No matter how impossible it might seem, no matter how big the problem might be, no matter how strong and powerful your enemies might be, or how weak and fragile you might be, if God is with us, then we will do it. And that is the lesson that Caleb is teaching through his life. You know, school's tough, right?
No.
I know sometimes it's just impossible to do better or to do good even. I know because I went through it. And it was tough. Your pride gets hurt. Language is tough, right? Learning a new language. I still have a hard time with English. It's not my mother tongue. Feeling alone is tough. To find someone who you can just talk it out when you got nobody to help you out. But no matter what it is, it will be okay. It will be okay. I can promise you that because I know for sure one thing. This is God promising it to you. Don't be afraid, for I am with you. Don't be discouraged,
What is AC?
for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will hold you up with my victorious right hand. What is God promising you? I will be with you to the end of the ages. Don't be afraid. Don't be discouraged. 85-year-old man defeating 3 groups of giants
Oh my God.
because God was with him. You will do great things because Jesus is with you. No matter how small you are, no matter how weak you are, no matter how old, you will still do great things. God is with you. So don't lose hope. It will be okay. Let me pray.